Presented by Cursed by the Witch. Warning, use headphones before listening to horror podcast story.
Shadow of the Last Vampire unfolds in a quaint, fog-shrouded village nestled at the foot of an ancient mountain range, surrounded by dense woods and forgotten graves. Once, the village was plagued by a clan of vampires that terrorized it for centuries. However, according to legend, a lone hunter finally wiped them out, one by one, until only their leader, the last vampire, remained. The tale insists that he was sealed away beneath the mountain in a cursed tomb, doomed to eternal slumber, or so the villagers believe. Part 1. The Return of the Darkness. In the present day, Elena, a historian with a taste for the macabre, arrives in the village after hearing whispers of an ancient evil. She's come to study the legends and search for artifacts, particularly interested in discovering the hidden tomb of the last vampire, known only in local lore as Lord Aldric Voss. Despite warnings from the villagers, who still leave garlic and crosses hanging from their doors, Elena is determined to uncover the truth, convinced that it's merely superstition. The villagers' warnings unsettle her, yet she finds herself irresistibly drawn to the tale of Aldric Voss, whose shadow they claim still lingers in the deepest woods. One night, Elena ventures further than intended into the woods, her flashlight flickering as she stumbles upon an ancient stone doorway covered in vines. Unfamiliar symbols are etched into the stone, some worn away by time, yet she can feel the energy radiating from it, a chill that seeps into her bones. She knows she's found the entrance to Aldric's tomb. As she touches the door, a faint whisper echoes from within, calling her name in a voice that sounds hauntingly familiar. Part 2. Awakening the Last Vampire. Unable to resist, Elena returns with tools to pry open the sealed door, her curiosity outweighing her sense of caution. As she opens it, a cold gust of air rushes out, carrying the scent of decay and something much older, a darkness that has lain dormant for centuries. She descends a winding stone staircase that seems to go on forever, her footsteps echoing eerily against the stone walls. At the bottom, she finds herself in a cavernous chamber, illuminated by faint, unnatural light emanating from the walls. At the center of the room lies a massive stone sarcophagus, its surface etched with symbols warning of the fate that awaits anyone who dares disturb it. Ignoring her growing dread, Elena opens the coffin. Inside lies Aldric Voss, his pale face untouched by time, eyes closed as if merely sleeping. His fingers are long, tipped with razor-sharp nails, and his expression is eerily serene. But as Elena watches, his eyes snap open, a piercing red that cuts through the darkness, and he smiles, a haunting, cold smile. Aldric Voss, the last vampire, has awakened, and his hunger is immeasurable. Weak from his centuries of slumber, he pulls Elena close, whispering promises of eternal life, ancient knowledge, and endless power. Mesmerized, she finds herself unable to resist as he feeds, leaving her dizzy and entranced. Part 3. The Shadow's Grip on the Village. As the days pass, Elena becomes something of a shell of her former self, yet she returns to Aldric each night, feeling a strange connection to him, a bond forged in darkness and blood. Meanwhile, strange events begin to unfold in the village. Shadows appear in places they shouldn't, moving independently of the sun or moonlight. Villagers begin to vanish, with only pools of blood or stray articles of clothing left behind. The village elders, who have long guarded the secret of Aldric's resting place, realize that someone must have broken the seal. Desperate, they confront Elena, trying to convince her to leave, but she's already too enthralled by Aldric's power. Every night she dreams of his voice calling her, filling her mind with thoughts of blood and eternal darkness. She can't escape it, as though Aldric's shadow has taken root inside her. Part 4. Aldric's Revenge. Now fully revived, Aldric ventures out of the tomb under cover of darkness, cloaking himself in shadows to avoid detection. His hunger is insatiable, and he silently stalks the villagers, feasting on them one by one. Unlike the younger vampires who once served him, Aldric has powers that defy reason. He can vanish into thin air, appear in two places at once, and command the shadows to do his bidding. The villagers become frantic, but they know they can't simply kill him. They tried once before and failed. Aldric's bond with Elena grows deeper, transforming her gradually into something not quite human. Her skin pales, her eyes sharpen, and she feels the cravings growing within her. Yet she struggles against Aldric's pull, realizing that if she doesn't sever their connection, she'll lose herself completely. One night, in a moment of clarity, Elena finds the journal of the hunter who sealed Aldric away. It describes a ritual, one that involves binding a human soul to the vampire's tomb, effectively trapping him in a living prison. Realizing what she must do, Elena devises a plan to draw Aldric back into the tomb, sacrificing herself to ensure he'll never escape again. Part 5. The Final Confrontation. Under the blood-red moon, Elena confronts Aldric in the tomb, her heart racing but resolute. Aldric tries to enchant her, offering her a place by his side as his eternal consort, but she resists, her will fortified by the memory of all those he's destroyed. As he lunges for her, she begins the ritual, chanting the words from the hunter's journal. Furious, Aldric tries to overpower her, but she channels the last of her strength, sacrificing her own soul to bind him once more. The ground trembles, and the walls of the tomb close in. Aldric's screams echo as he's pulled into the shadows, his form dissolving until he's nothing but a memory, his essence trapped within the stone forever. Epilogue. The shadow lives on. Elena's sacrifice ends the nightmare, but not entirely. Some say that on nights when the moon is at its fullest, whispers can still be heard in the depths of the forest. Villagers who stray too close to the old tomb claim they can see her shadow moving behind the sealed stone door, her voice faintly calling out, as if the shadows of the last vampire and his lost companion are bound together, forever watching from the darkness. The villagers place new wards around the tomb, never to be broken, and every generation passes down the tale of the shadow of the last vampire. For although Aldric Voss is gone, his darkness lives on in the whispers that drift through the village, a reminder that evil never truly dies, it merely waits, patiently, for another soul to answer its call.
Thank you for watching. Just like and subscribe.